Let me ask you something. What do you do when you obey God and everything starts collapsing? Not because you sinned, not because you walked away, but because you listened, you prayed, you fasted, you gave, you served, you left what He told you to leave. And now your bank account is low, your rent is due, and heaven feels quiet. That's what happened to Naomi, and it almost broke her.
Naomi loved God, not casually, not halfway, the 4:30 a.m. alarm kind of love. While the world slept, she was already awake, on her knees, Bible open, whispering prayers into the dark. She prayed for people who would never know her name. She wrote scriptures down like she was engraving promises into stone. By 6, she was moving, answering messages, planning outreach, sending money to someone who needed groceries, checking on the elderly woman from church, sending texts encouraging the friend who said she was fine but wasn't. By 7, she was at the church preschool stacking chairs, organizing supplies, kneeling down to comfort crying children before rushing to work. And then work. 9 to whenever the job was done. She was the dependable one, the strong one, the one who absorbed pressure so no one else had to. By the time she drove home, her jaw ached from clenching, her back throbbed, her head pulsed. But she still prayed, still journaled, still pushed, because somewhere deep down, she believed if she was faithful enough, God would move faster. But what she called faithfulness was slowly becoming fear, fear of slowing down, fear of disappointing God, fear of not being enough. Then, one morning in prayer, she felt it, clear, sharp, uncomfortable.
Stop. Be still.
It didn't feel comforting, it felt threatening, because if she stopped, who would hold everything together? Then the pressure at work intensified, deadlines stacked up, her chest tightened daily, headaches refused to leave. Her body was screaming what her mouth wouldn't say. One evening, she sat in her car after work, gripping the steering wheel as tears streamed down her face, and she heard it again, leave. Her heart pounded.
God, leave. This pays my rent.
Silence. But the instruction didn't change, so she obeyed. She resigned. And that's when the wilderness and pruning season began. At first, it felt brave. Then it felt terrifying. Savings dropped, but the bills stayed. The refrigerator slowly emptied until she was stretching meals and pretending she wasn't worried. Give us this day our daily bread. This scripture, Matthew 6:11, sounded different when it was all she had. Then the rent calls started.
Hello?
Ms. Naomi, your account is past due.
Every ring made her stomach flip. Finally, the property manager said,
Naomi, I respect your faith,
Yes.
but we need something tangible.
Tangible. The word pierced her. She hung up, slid down her kitchen cabinet, and hit the floor.
God, I did what you said.
Not angry, just shattered.
I gave. I served. I left. I trusted you. Why does this feel like punishment?
Her voice cracked.
What if I misheard you?
That question wrecked her. Through sobs, she whispered,
Trust in the Lord with all your heart. Lean not to your own understanding.
In all our ways, acknowledge him, and he will direct your path. Proverbs 3:5-6. It didn't sound bold. It sounded desperate. Then,
The righteous cry out, and the Lord hears them.
Psalm 34:17. She pressed her forehead to the tile and cried until she had nothing left. No lightning struck, no miracle envelope appeared, but something invisible shifted. The panic loosened.
The next morning, she went walking because she needed some fresh air. That's when she saw the heron, a 4-foot bird, stepping out of the water like it owned the moment. It walked beside her, not rushing, not startled, just steady. Her heart raced at first. On her second lap, it stopped, completely still, and in her spirit she heard it clearly. Be still and know that I am God. Psalm 46:10. She stopped walking too, and for the first time, she surrendered the outcome. Later that day, the property manager called again.
Hello?
Naomi, I need to know what's happening.
Her heart beat fast, but her voice was steady.
I don't have it right now.
But I believe God told me to do this. And I believe He will provide.
Silence. Then the manager said slowly,
I don't know why, but I feel peace about giving you more time.
the call stopped completely. That wasn't luck. That was covering. And Naomi began to realize this wilderness wasn't just about money. It was about control, about carrying what God never assigned her. My grace is sufficient for you. 2 Corinthians 12:9. Maybe she didn't have to earn miracles. Then came the next instruction. Move. Another state. No job lined up. No safety net. Fear showed up loud. But so did this. Be strong and courageous, for the Lord your God will be with you wherever you go. Joshua 1:9. So she packed. She cried some nights, prayed other nights, and drove toward a place she had never lived. And this is where everything shifted. She found a church that felt like home. Real community, real covering.
This feels like home.
Her business, the one that once struggled,
Another client?
began expanding without force. Clients came without chasing. Opportunities opened without striving. Income increased without anxiety attached to it. She wasn't grinding, she was aligned. And in that alignment, she met him.
Hi, I'm Naomi.
Wilson, nice to meet you.
Not chaos, not confusion, peace. A man who loved God deeply, who didn't need her to carry him, who saw her strength but protected her softness.
Months later, Naomi sat on a plane, first class, watching the clouds roll beneath her. And she remembered the kitchen floor. She remembered the empty fridge, the rent calls, the trembling voice, the heron standing still. She remembered asking God,
Did I ruin my life?
and now her business wasn't just surviving, it was thriving. Contracts she once prayed for were now normal. Money flowed without fear attached to it. The same woman who once stretched meals was now quietly blessing others the way she used to pray someone would bless her. And the man sitting beside her? Peace, partnership, purpose. They were traveling the world together, laughing, building, living. Not because she hustled harder, not because she forced doors open,
but because she obeyed in the dark, because she trusted when she didn't understand. And one day it hit her. God hadn't just restored what she lost, He exceeded it. Now to Him who is able to do exceedingly abundantly above all that we ask or think. Ephesians 3:20. She had asked for provision. He gave her overflow. She had asked for stability. He gave her expansion. She had asked to survive. He gave her abundance. The wilderness didn't destroy her. It positioned her. And if He did it for Naomi, if He carried her when she had nothing but trembling faith and an empty refrigerator, if He turned her obedience into overflow, He can do it for you. Not maybe, not someday. He is able. So don't quit in the wilderness. Don't panic in the pruning. Don't mistake silence for absence, because the same God who told her to be still is still moving. And what looks like everything falling apart may be the very setup for God to do exceedingly, abundantly, above all you could ever ask or think.
If you see yourself in Naomi or story, don't wait. Take the same steps she did. Visit problemstosolutions.com now, and your life may depend on it. Healing is possible for you too. You are not alone, and with faith and the right support, you can rise again.